Welcome to another episode of Systematic Geekology. This is a space where we seek to create and cultivate healthy conversations between those things we geek out on and the philosophical and theological questions that often arise out of our fandoms. Like, what does it mean to be human? What makes a hero? What makes a villain? How do the stories and narratives we geek out on shape how we live in the world? We are your priest to the geeks. We aren't all ordained, but we see ourselves as mediators at the intersection of geek culture and going deeper in our faith. We don't always have to agree, but we do respect each other, and we see everyone as a beloved child of God. Everyone geeks out on something, so come geek out with us and enjoy the show.
You're listening to an Anazao Ministries podcast.
Why won't you look at me, you priest to the geeks? Is it because you're afraid I'm going to kill you? Well, don't be. I'm not. I will invite you to the drive-in, though. Where we are going to have a fun time. This is Systematic Geekology's Halloween drive-in. This year we're doing versus films or monster mashes, if you will. And you guys voted for the top ones. You voted for the House of Dracula, but the drive-in wasn't selling enough tickets. So our guest today, Ryan Does, happens to be the manager of the drive-in, and he said, man, what are we gonna do? Let's make it a double feature and more people will come. And he added on the House of Frankenstein. So that's right, double feature drive-in, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula. We are thrilled to talk about these films. I am Joshua Noel. Again, I am here with the one and only Ryan Does of Across the Bifrost fame, and just I think beard fame. Like, I think when you think of beard, you're like Gandalf, that one guy in Game of Thrones, Fred the Beard, maybe. Ryan Does.
Oh, buddy, I love getting to stop by and just hang out. Like, I got to do another one of these drive-ins, the Alien versus Predator one with Leah and Will, and
yeah,
somehow
you're popular in this.
Somehow we made that under an hour by a miracle of whatever you call holy. But today, when Joshua said he wanted help with this one, I was like, I can assist with this one because I am like, this is a niche like that I absolutely freaking love.
Yeah. And for these drive-in series, those who followed the show for a while know, we kind of do like a cosplay of The Voice, audio cosplay. And we're like, man, what if we went to the drive-in movie theater and what would it be like? And we're trying to like talk as if we just finished the movies, right? But I'm going to give you guys the stage too, right? Like, you need a little background for this one. I was like, hey, I can't wait to go see a drive-in movie. They're doing a double feature at our local drive-in. And I was like, man, I'm going to call Ryan. He probably won't want to go with me. It's kind of a niche thing. He's not going to like this. And then like I show, and he was like, oh yeah, man, sure. Why not? And I'm like, okay, cool. And then like, he comes to pick me up because he's driving because I have PTSD around cars. And I'm like, I get in the car and he's like full on dressed as Dracula. He's got his car painted out and he's like #1 fan ever. Let's go. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Oh. And then we watched the movie. And after the movie, Ryan, you turned to me and what's the first thing you said?
So in this scenario, Joshua, have I just watched House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula, just straight into each other?
A double feature. We just sat through both of them.
My first thought is House of Frankenstein is way better, and House of Dracula is essentially the same plot of the previous movie. But I get a little bit more John Carradine in the second one, so I do like that. And at the end of House of Dracula, I also think, how many times are they going to kill Lon Chaney as the Wolfman? I swear, the Wolfman in the Universal series has been killed so many different times, and we'll discover this through the conversation. But the Wolfman is actually my least favorite Universal monster, and I have receipts for it.
I'm starting to like him more. The more I watch the films, I'm like, I'm starting to like this guy more. Okay. But if we just finished Yeah. Also, I'm just like, man, I kind of love that they're like, what do you mean canonicity? Well, they just didn't care about that in the 40s, and I love it.
It's a pick and choose your own canon franchise.
Any timeline doesn't matter. Yeah. But like, I think if the movie just ended, I'm looking at Ryan. I'm like, oh man, hey, what did you think? And I'm gonna keep passing it to him because he drove us here dressed as Dracula. I want to wait for him to start driving, and as soon as he starts driving, I'm like, why aren't you looking at me, Ryan? Are you afraid I'm going to kill? That one that just stuck in my head. That line. That's one of those audio clips that you're like, man, that's just going to be right up there with some of those SpongeBob quotes. I'm going to be for the rest of my life going, is mayonnaise an instrument? And also, why aren't you looking at me?
Why aren't you looking at me? See, I would be, if you were driving, I'd be like, no, Joshua, there's quicksand. No.
Quicksand. Of course, quicksand. My one.
And then in the next movie, you find my corpse in a cavern somewhere.
But he'll be
by happenstance. Oh my gosh, dude! This would be I do think this would be a fun drive-in because like these two movies together is barely over 2 hours.
Yeah. Like I feel like this is like it's a both and. Like I could see where we would watch this, eat popcorn, drink some beers, and just have a good time, or where we could have like an actual deep conversation after. Like it could be like an either or. Like you choose your adventure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As most people that like enjoy Universal monster movies like could attest to, like this I guess mega franchise is really what you make it.
Yeah. And this is like you got to throw that MCU comparison in there because everyone's like, oh, this is the first time anyone's ever done this kind of level of crossover. And then like people who've watched Universal monster movies are like, wrong. It's not. We've done this before, actually.
The MCU did it better, but it wasn't the first time.
Yeah, with a higher budget.
Yeah. And I'm glad you guys have done Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman because that is, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I believe it is the first crossover in movie history of two existing franchises being combined into one.
It was really cool. It's been a couple of years. I'll try to put that link in the show's description. With me and Brandon Knight did it. Brandon was originally going to be on this, but then, life. And then also, there was a Dr. Franz Edelman visited him, and all of a sudden he wasn't on the episode. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Man. That guy's bad news.
Brandon, we love you. Shout out. He's got a show on the Anazal Podcast Network, My Seminary Life, as well as Kung Fu Pizza Party. Check those out. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about these movies. Ryan, really, really quick, could you give like the bare bones basics for those who have no idea what we're talking about? What is House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula about? Because they're pretty much the same movie.
Okay, so broad strokes. These movies are part of Universal's attempt to get all of their iconic characters into the same movie. They're house movies in that they're all kind of like they're all people characters playing in the same house. So we, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula. It's really just a way to tell us it's a monster mashup. And just a bit of context here. Universal was the king of horror movies in the 30s. They essentially created the genre in film. And they were adapting these Victorian era literary masterpieces like Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man. All of these different literary things are being adapted in the 30s. But in the 40s, a little thing called World War II breaks out. And the horror genre kind of took a hit. And the movies weren't as groundbreaking anymore. Frankenstein had his play at the theater. Dracula had been a big, sensation across the country. But in the 40s, they're kind of trying to scramble for different things. The Wolfman came out early in the decade, and that kind of hit a home run. But then it still needed more traction. They wanted to keep these characters in front of people. And that's why we get the house movies. We get the mashups because of the novelty of throwing all of these characters into the same film. People were going to go see that. So you get the posters from the 40s of like, in the same movie, you're going to see the monster, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the Hunchback, the mad scientist. You're getting all these different kind of we would call them cliches or tropes at this point, but you're getting all these iconic images of the horror genre of the 30s in the 40s in this new unique proto Avengers team up movie. And I think it's a stroke of genius if you're the Universal Studio, because you have all of these marketable characters, but you're throwing them in these movies. House of Frankenstein essentially is Dracula. Dracula is discovered by a mad scientist and a hunchback who are escaping prison because they're wrongly convicted of crimes. Dracula kind of hangs out with them for a while, but Dracula is killed by sunlight. And then we run into the Wolfman, Talbot, who's played by Lon Chaney Jr., and we quickly dispense of the Wolfman because the House of Frankenstein is a weird movie because none of the three titular monsters actually interact with each other in House of Frankenstein. And then at the end, we see Boris Karloff, the actor who originally portrayed Frankenstein's monster, awaken Frankenstein's monster in the aftermath of the Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. So they go back to that. That is a bit of continuity they actually keep, Joshua. In a franchise where we can pick and choose our own adventure, they actually choose to keep that part. The movie ends with Frankenstein's monster carrying Boris Karloff into the marshes, and they die in quicksand, only to be reawakened in House of Dracula, where apparently Dracula's fine again. He flies into Dr. Edelman's house, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to cure me of my vampirism." And he's like, blood transfusions. Let's do blood transfusions. So through this series of blood transfusions, which again, this is quack science at its absolute best. We see Dracula and the Wolfman show up at Edelman's house in relative, close parameters, and they want to be cured of their diseases. And they're trying to do these blood transfusions. And Dr. Edelman says, actually, to Talbot, he says, the actual reason you're turning into a werewolf because of pressure on the brain. If we actually do some procedures, we can get rid of that for you. Well, predictably, all of this goes terribly. And Dracula is killed by just the doctor opening up the casket and the sunlight comes in. And it's like, oh, well, that was easy. Edelman, because of the blood transfusions, turns into a vampire. This all leads to another showdown between the Wolfman and Frankenstein's monster, where they light the laboratory on fire, and then we're kind of left, oh no, what's gonna happen next? There was not another House movie. There wasn't like a House of anything movie, but they kind of continue this mashup format in the Abbott and Costello movies that were in the latter 50s or 40s and early 50s. So sorry for that long diatribe, Joshua, but a little bit of context for these movies.
No,
because
that's literally what I asked for.
I think these movies are actually a little bit more significant because of the context in which they were made, as opposed to the plot of either of the films.
Yes. No, I agree. It's context for the drive-in, because I guess that's important. I don't know why. There actually really just isn't a reason. Last week, for those listening, is when we covered Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. Yeah, we didn't do this linearly. My favorite of the Universal monster films is one of the ones from the 30s, The Bride of Frankenstein. I love it.
Yeah,
I think it's so good. And then, so I think we did that the very first time we did a Halloween drive-in. Then we did Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. And then I don't think we did any last year, which is probably why I wasn't on any last year. Because when it comes to Halloween, I like the classics. I'm like, I don't care about the new cool, scary things. I don't know, man. But yeah, so all that's really, it's interesting. I feel like we need to do some more of these that I've left out. For me, when it comes to these two films, it felt to me like House of Dracula had a lot more themes and messages that I could get behind. But the plot wasn't there. The acting and stuff was just, it wasn't as good. Like it just wasn't done as well. But I could see the messages and stuff. It's like the opposite of what modern movies have a problem of. I'm like, that movie should have been longer, actually. It shouldn't have started off with Dracula's in the guy's house. Hold up. What do you mean? He's just in the guy's house? It's 5 a.m. He thought he'd make a visit in the middle of the night. 5 a.m. isn't the middle of the night. Shut up.
Listener, viewer, wherever you're at right now, I need you to know the context of Josh and I setting this up. I called him a few nights ago when we were getting prepared for this, and I was like,
5 a.m. in the middle of the night.
Yes, I actually showed up at Joshua's doorstep, and I was like, I wish to sleep in your basement. It's like, I think my wife's going to be pissed about it, but yeah, let's roll with it. There's a fat guy in our basement, Joshua. Gosh.
I like my two biggest writing complaints with the Bible are Jonah, because it's a garbage story. Sorry, Will. I hate it. I just think it's poorly written. And then like those parts of the gospel where it's like, then Jesus showed up. What do you mean? And that's what this felt like. Then Dracula showed up. Like, what?
And he gives the crappiest reason. He's like, I have shown up here because I need your help. And the doctor's first thought is not to be like, get out of my house, man. His first thing is like, well, this is peculiar. This is odd, but sure, I'll help you. Also, I think they discard a bit of vampiric lore there, where for a vampire to enter a house, he has to be invited in.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. I think too, it's just the opening scene was the thing that I think I had the most problems with in that film. It was so weird. And it's like Dracula never had any desire to get rid of his vampirism before. So it's like, that's out of the blue. He shows up and then like Dr. Edelman or whatever, he's like Dracula's guy. I forget what he's going by. He's like, do you believe in the supernatural? He's like, I'm religious, but do you believe in the supernatural? Of course not. I'm a man of science.
Of course not. I'm a man of science.
I'm like, okay, hold up. And since, this is our year of polarization of systematic ecology, we've done magic versus science, and we've like on Whole Church right now, we're doing like a faith and science series. And I'm like, what? I do think part of this is because the stuff that happened during the Scopes monkey trial is still affecting people in America. So it's like more on the mind. And I think, and we'll probably talk about this in a little bit, but some of the stuff we see with the science, especially in the House of Dracula garbage. Sorry. I didn't like that one. I liked the messages and themes and some of the characters and stuff, but like as a whole, I just didn't care for it. But some of the stuff, it feels like if you don't understand that at that time, the reason people had problems with evolutionary science was actually because of eugenics, a lot of it doesn't make sense. Because like a lot of his stuff, like, and I think this actually happens a little bit in both movies. They're like, oh, well, we can fix you. And it's a lot of that, humans, the perfect human is something that can exist. And science is going to solve this problem. And the guys who are saying that are the bad guys. And I think that little bit of history might contextualize some of that.
Oh my gosh.
Possibly.
I mean, it's the 40s, man. Stuff was happening.
Yeah, stuff was stuff. Well, anyway.
Generic stuff. Not century earth-shattering stuff. Okay, so since this is our versus, Monster Mash kind of drive-in, if you were going to, before we watch the movie, if you were like to pick a monster, because like in my mind, I'm like, the monsters are gonna hash it out. Who were you hoping would come out on top? Were you like, man, I really hope Dracula comes out on top of all these guys, or like, what are you thinking? Because I'm a hopeless nerd in his 30s with way too much time on his hand, apparently, I have proposed this question to myself many times. Here's the thing. Carradine's Dracula is nowhere as powerful as Bela Lugosi's Dracula.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for that, I would have to take, just in a pure straight up fight, I'm taking Frankenstein's monster 1,000%. If Bela Lugosi's Dracula is in this movie, I take Bela Lugosi's version of the character. It's not that I don't like Carradine. I enjoy John Carradine in a lot of different movies, but he's just so freaking campy, and I'm never at for 1 second am I scared of Carradine's Dracula.
Accurate. But I think going into it, I'm probably cheering for Frankenstein's monster. Like I'm thinking like the other movies that I've seen that I'm like, I love him in. Seldomly is he actually the monster, which again is one of those things that I think House of Frankenstein did better than House of Dracula, because House of Dracula, he just shows up and tears some things up.
Yeah. It's He's awakened, he fights, and he's done.
Yeah, he still doesn't have a lot of on screen time in House of Frankenstein, but it's truer to the character, I think, where like he shows up and he's actually trying to do something good, and then the people are immediately like, oh, a monster. So like I just think it fits his character better. But I think going in, I'm like, oh yeah, he's not actually a monster. Like personality wise, he's not a monster. So I'm cheering for Frankenstein's monster. To quote Hagrid, just misunderstood creatures, those Frankenstein monsters. Yeah. But yeah, so I think I would be cheering for him too. So we're with that expectation. Do you think you would have been or are disappointed in how some of it turned out, or are you just kind of like, cool?
Here's the thing. I can sit down and enjoy a B-level old horror movie more than most people. Because I love the classic studio era set design. I like a lot of the contract actors. I told you this, and I'll share it with people here. I am a Boris Karloff enthusiast through and through. And I like his performances in movies and radio dramas. Like I could listen to that man speak forever. I find his voice is powerful. There's not many actors through the history of movies that I'm just like, his voice makes me care about this, even if the story is completely devoid of any kind of meaning. But these are fun movies. Like if you can have fun with it. I think I'm more on the side of like, this is one of those movies that maybe doesn't need to be inspected philosophically. But like some of the previous movies, like the original Dracula, the original Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, the original Invisible Man is incredible. I love the Mummy movies. Like they are campy and crazy, but I love them. And the Wolfman, I can take or leave. But like, this movie is one where I'm just like, hey, I want something on in the background while I'm folding towels. And I'm like, oh, look, Boris Karloff's a crazy scientist. I love this. It scratches a very, very satisfying itch.
Yeah. I think, man, watching them through the way I think we proposed for the drive-in, which is the opposite of how we watched them this week, but it's fine. If we watch House of Frankenstein and then watch House of Dracula, going into it, wanting Frankenstein to come out on top, because I think he's just a misunderstood creature, But, I don't know. I do think I'd be a little disappointed, mostly because he's basically just cameos. Now, I think in House of Frankenstein, the fact that you get Boris Karloff being the doctor that has him is a little poignant. So it's kind of like, okay, that's cool. And it's actually about Frankenstein, not Frankenstein's monster. So they talk a lot about Frankenstein and his work, and it fits. It makes sense that they call it House of Frankenstein. And it's just, but I think as we go through, I feel like the one that'd be the most interesting is for me, the Wolfman, going through like Larry Talbot. Cause like, I'm always like, Wolfman, he's just, I don't know. I've always liked Frankenstein better. And then like, I feel like I'd be going through and I'm like, oh man, I get it. Yeah. It's like that Paul verse. They're like, I do what I don't want to do. And I don't do what I want to do. And the do.
Oh my gosh. That is Larry Talbot's life verse right there.
Yeah. And like, he's going through. And at first I feel like, as we go through House of Frankenstein, I feel like I would start to be like, okay, I'm starting to get it. I felt that way before, there's stuff about myself I wish I could change. But I feel like as we sit through back to back, eventually I'm like, man, this guy's just whiny. Like, shut up. Like, we get it.
Yeah. You nailed why I don't like the Wolfman. It's like, we get it, dude. It sucks to be a werewolf, but can you shut up about it? Like, if you take all the Wolfman appearances in the Universal Monster movies and put them together, it listens like an album where every track is the same song.
I don't think I love how in House of Dracula, they kind of normalize suicidal tendencies with his character of like, oh, he's like this. They don't act like it's good or bad or anything. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's Larry. He tends to kill himself.
Oh, yeah. Larry. Silly Larry jumping off a cliff again.
That is bad.
Yeah. No. I feel like it's problematic that we kind of brush that. There's a lot of problematic stuff in these movies, but I just want to felt like I touch on. We could also get into feminism, but then we'd have another whole podcast, and we're not going to do that. But I'm not your guest for discussing feminist movie. Me and Leah will do a 4-hour podcast after this talking about.
I would gladly watch that.
No. Also though, Daniel, that first movie, Daniel, true to his name, Because, Daniel Sigmund is one of the coolest people I know because he's one of the sponsors and members officially of Systematic Ecology. Daniel Sigmund's awesome. And just so happens that the coolest character in House of Frankenstein was also named Daniel. I love that guy. The little hunchback and like the unrequited love kind of storyline. And then seeing how it's just, what I love about House of Frankenstein is that there's more layers to it, I feel like. Because you can peel back where you're seeing like some of these characters' motives. And I'm like, okay, wait, Ianka wants to love the Wolfman because she sees he's a tortured soul and girls like werewolves, Team Jake or Edward or something. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And then she's like, actually genuinely wants to help him and is willing to kill the person that she's decided she's in love with. And it's like, okay, there's layers here. But then also seeing everything that's happening and how people are doing her wrongly pisses Daniel off. And then Daniel ends up taking it out on the doctor. And then the monster of Frankenstein wakes up just in time to see Daniel kill the doctor. He's like, wait a minute, murder's bad. So then he kills that guy. And then all the villagers show up and, oh, wait a minute, that guy's a murderer. And it's like, whoa, well, everybody's missing. This film needs to be shown to every pastor ever. Context matters.
Good, like if you watch most Universal movies, Joshua, and I know we need to move on because we've got other things we need to talk about.
It's fine.
I know that like the last 10 minutes of most Universal movies are a race to the finish. Like there's some movies that literally they don't even reach their climactic point until the last 2 minutes of the runtime.
Well, but I like how they do that in House of Frankenstein,
I love
though.
it.
Because it's like, oh, wait, they killed him, and then he killed him for killing him, and then he killed him. And I'm like, oh, layers, context,
the dominoes
this is cool.
just start to fall.
It pissed me off how it happened in House of Dracula, though. Because it's like you're building, you have these storylines of like, wait a minute, there's magic, there's science, and the desire for power, control over yourself. And there's a lot of really cool, interesting themes that they could dig into. And then the guy's like, actually, wait a minute, I found Frankenstein's monster, and now he's here, and the house burns down the end. They're like, oh, what? You had so many cool themes. I want resolution to the questions it brought up.
I want resolution.
Well, okay, so systematic ecology, like the big thing Will says in the little intro everybody has to listen to every episode, because I'm never going to change it because I actually think Will did incredible. It's like we want to engage with the questions that these movies are asking. But to me, it's really frustrating when they seemed scared to engage their own question. And that's what this felt like to me. They were like, wait a minute, is it religion? Is it magic? Is it science? Or do we just want control over our own bodies? Is it like Larry Talbot? We want control of ourselves. Is it like, Dr. Franz Edelman and like actually he wants to control others? Like we think he's trying to help us, but really he just wants control. He wants acknowledgement. He wants the cred. And then it's like, oh, okay, these are interesting themes. And they're like, okay, now are you guys ready to engage this? Here's a monster and the house burns down. Okay,
let's burn the house down.
Yeah, that's not engaging it. That's literally setting the stage for an interesting conversation and literally lighting it on fire. I'm like, why?
That's good.
It's so frustrating.
It's like House of Dracula, cheesy B horror movie, or a thesis on bodily autonomy that you never knew you needed.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, wouldn't it be really interesting if we engaged these themes? Too bad.
And then just poured a bunch of gas on it and lit it on fire.
Yeah.
And just watch it burn in front of you.
Yeah. Brian, do you have a favorite line, scene, or character in each of these films?
So
if it helps, I can tell you my favorite line from all of the films.
No,
I think everyone knows it.
Why don't you get that out of your system, and then I will give you my quick answer.
Why aren't you looking at me, listeners? Are you afraid I'm going to kill you? I'm sorry, the way it was delivered, just man, it's that is going to live in my head forever.
As it should.
Yeah.
My favorite scene, though, honestly, I love the one thing with Universal movies is they play with lighting so well. So I love the climax of the House of Frankenstein scene where Daniel tries to choke out Dr. Neiman, Boris Karloff's character, and he can't finish the job, but the monster wakes up and he's like, hey, like he's pissed because Dr. Neiman was the one that gave him life again. So he instantaneously like goes and he throws Daniel out the window. But then like you see, I love this scene, and I'm a total dork for liking this. I know I can hear your thoughts right now, listener. I am a massive dork for when Frankenstein's monster is holding Karloff and he carries him out of the castle. I love that visual so much because here's my little fun fact, little trivia for you. This is the first time Karloff was in a Frankenstein movie where he wasn't playing Frankenstein's monster. So an actor named Glenn Strange is playing the monster in this movie. And on set, Karloff was giving him tips on how to play the character because at this point in his life, Joshua, Karloff was getting older. He wasn't old by any stretch, but playing the monster had really, really taken a toll on him physically. And because the character is not easy to play, it's a cumbersome suit and the makeup is just caked on him, and it was not something he was going to do anymore. And but he was coaching Glenn Strange on how to play the character. So that scene where the monster is holding Karloff, I'm just like, yeah, I rent free in my mind.
Yeah. It's like cinematic history wise, like that's just and this is correct me if I'm wrong, listener out there somewhere Googling stuff furiously right now. If I believe this is the last time that Karloff is in a Frankenstein film. So interesting.
Yeah. So I'm a nerd for that kind of little minute detail. And with an actor I love so much, and I'm hoping at some point towards the end here, Joshua will give me a chance to recommend something to you guys. So, but Joshua, I throw it back to you.
Yeah. We need to hurry up so we can get to those recommendations. But man, as far as favorite scenes, mine's close to that actually. Mine probably of either of these films, my favorite scene is going to be when Daniel feels as though the reason Ianka will never love him, Ianka's like the woman who ends up falling for Larry Talbot, like he decides, he blames it on the fact that the doctor never gave him the Frankenstein monster body or whatever, right? And like he is in there and he gets like, I don't know if it's a whip or what it is, but just watching him just try to beat this lifeless body that he's blaming. And excuse me for being the armchair philosopher, but I'm like, man, that pretty much sums up humanity, doesn't it? Like we're all in here going, man, here's this thing that I love and I desire so much, but I can't have. And instead of taking earnest for myself and trying to figure out how to change my desires, how to like be realistic or how to, whatever, instead of trying to figure out myself, you know what I'm going to do? Here's a lifeless body. Here's someone who can't fight back. And I'm going to take out my frustrations there. And I'm like, man, the way that they frame that scene and everything, I'm like, oh God, that got me in my feels. Luckily I was cutting onions, so no one noticed. But favorite character is also Daniel. I love Daniel as a character. He was so good.
He's a great character.
Yeah. I also love Daniel Sigmund. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. Is there any other character like as far as like protagonist, antagonist that you're like, maybe we need to dig a little bit more as geekologist into some of their motives and relate to, or are you ready to do some of those recommendations?
I think maybe just mention Meliza in the House of Dracula. She's the hunchback assistant. It is the first time the hunchback character is played by a woman. And I'm not going to lie, Joshua, I don't want to get off on a whole side thing here, but like just easily the hottest hunchback I've ever seen. But I love her character because like, Edelman is trying to get the vampirism fixed with Dracula, but slowly he becomes a vampire, and Meliza gets tricked by Dracula into maybe following for his, allure, his vampiric, gaze. And she's like, man, not having it. So she has this moment of empowerment where she's just like, I may look weak and fragile, but like I don't hate myself. So like, thanks, but no thanks. I'll pass. So I like her character a lot.
Yeah, I want to also shout out Dr. Franz Edelman as a character. We've talked about him a lot, but we don't think we really mentioned too much about his motives. To me, that's also part of why I think this movie frustrated me so much. It reminds me so much of so many people in the church world, especially evangelical world, that I kind of partially left. I'm part of the ELCA, so I guess evangelical's in the name, but I don't consider Lutheran evangelical really. But It's fine. Because it's like when you see his motives and you hear him, and like I think even he believes that what he really wants to do is to cure people, and he wants to make everybody well. And as soon as he gets kind of a taste of that vampirism, I don't think his heart or anything about his soul or anything changes. I think it's just he has power, and I think it kind of reveals that his real motive all along was actually power. If he is the doctor that's healing people, guess what? They owe their gratitude to him. If he's the one controlling things, like I think it was actually power, but I think even he himself believed that he wanted to help. And I think that taste of vampirism that really turned him into Jekyll and Hyde off brand because, Universal didn't have rights to it at the time. But, I think that taste of vampirism just revealed who his true character was. I don't think it changed his character. And that's one thing I really appreciate that the movie did do that they didn't capitalize on either.
You're right. I think that's a very accurate way to put that.
Yeah. So with that cheery note, right? You have some recommendations. I know you want to talk about Boris Karloff. I also wanted to mention some places people can see more Universal Monster content because stuff's great. But you want to go on Boris Karloff first?
So just so you know, everybody, I am a Boris Karloff enthusiast. I do know that he has problematic films. I am not going to suggest any of the Mr. Wong movies to you because they are yellow scare trash. So I'm steer clear of those. And I would really direct you into I would point you in the direction of another film from the 1930s. It is called The Old Dark House, and it stars Boris Karloff. But this is right after Karloff has starred in Frankenstein. And Frankenstein, here's an important thing to know about the original Frankenstein. He's not built. Like, Karloff was not a star. Frankenstein made him. And then this movie the next year in 1932 comes out, and it's The Old Dark House. It's kind of a haunted house murder mystery story. But it also features an actor named Charles Laughton, who I enjoy. Again, I know he's a problematic figure. Please send all of your obscurely niche hate to @IamRyanDoes on Instagram. I look forward to it. But the Old Dark House is the first film where Boris Karloff is billed as not Boris Karloff, but just Karloff. He was like a Beyonce or a Madonna. He was known and billed for a long time as just Karloff, and I think that is an absolutely, I think it's a badass thing. But The Old Dark House is also a great film because he does so little, or he does so much with so little. And he's an actor from the silent generation, so he knows how to, communicate so much without words. But The Old Dark House is a crazy movie. Also, and I might just have Joshua include this in the episode link, but he did a lot of horror radio, and there is an episode from, I believe it's The Inner Sanctum. It's an old radio show called The Corridor of Doom that is outside of Frankenstein. It's my favorite thing Boris Karloff ever did. It is a radio. It's a radio play about 15-20 minutes, and it is a textbook descent into madness story. And I love it. It's so I love it. There's like 3 or 4 actors in the whole thing, and Karloff just chews up the scenery in this audio drama. Yeah, I love it.
Man, I'm gonna just have to check both of those out. So I don't know. I don't have any Boris Karloff recommendations. Sorry, everybody. I like
How the Grinch Stole Christmas is also one you can check out.
Wait,
he's the narrator.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I'll always just associate that with Frankenstein. That's great.
Right.
I can't wait.
When you realize Frankenstein's monster is narrating the original, it's incredible.
Stay tuned for the next What If episode. What if Dr. Seuss wrote Frankenstein? But for now, as far as things go, I want to shout out though other places you find Universal monsters. The way they show up in the Universal theme parks, especially now that Epic has its own land, phenomenal. I would feel like I'd be doing you wrong, listeners, if I didn't mention the Universal Monster comics that came out like last year or the year before, especially the Frankenstein run. God, that Frankenstein run was
so good.
Incredible.
Massive.
Why aren't you looking at me? Sorry. Oh God, I can't help myself. But we do need to start wrapping this one up. There's a little bit of longer one, but hey, it was a double feature. What'd you expect? If you were to design, Ryan, your own Halloween treat for the drive-in concession stand, you were the manager who decided to make it a double feature in the first place. The food snack shack, whatever, they came up to you and they were like, hey, wait a minute. We need our own special treat for this double feature. I got it. What should the treat be?
So I love Chex Mix and I love the sweet and salty Chex Mix. So I would do sweet and salty Chex Mix with candy corns. I am from the Midwest, so any form of corn is good for me.
I am a nerd, and everybody knows that. I listen to podcasts about theme parks, and one of the foods they have in Epic Universe is... God, listen, in Epic Universe, one of the foods they have in the Monsterland is a garlic and rosemary pretzel steak. Like it's like formed like a steak that you would kill a vampire with. And everything I heard about it sounds incredible. So hey, listen, we're doing Universal Monsters. Let's have a pretzel steak and like green marshmallows that are kind of dressed like Frankenstein, and let's have a good time.
Want that?
And throw in some candy corn just to make people angry. Maybe they'll turn into a werewolf.
Want that now?
Man, yeah, me too. Let's go. Listen, if enough people sign up for our paid membership, Ryan and I will do a special episode reviewing Epic Universe and telling you all about Universal Monsters. It's going to take a lot of people to sign up, but I believe in you guys. So as you're doing that, though, also remember to rate and review the show wherever you listen. Check out the show note for the playlist of the whole series of the Drive-In Monster Mash that we've been doing. And remember, we are all a chosen people, a geekdom of priest.
Hey guys, Christian here. Have you ever wondered how you can support systematic ecology? Well, we've made it a lot easier for you by going to Fourth Wall. Instead of what we've done in the past, Fourth Wall makes everything very easy for everyone involved. Everything is in the same spot. So if you want to find a way to become a member and get access to our exclusive memberships and all the giveaways that we're going to be doing, Fourth Wall is the way to go. As well, if you want to see all the extra episodes and content that we only put to our members, that's the best way to go. Feel free to rate and review us there. You can also leave a donation or tip if that's something you're interested in. And as well, you can help support our All Reading Counts initiative that we do. All the donations that go to that go to our libraries. You also, if you really want to, it's like, man, I really want to hear more episodes about Christian for some reason. Or even for reasons I don't understand, you want to hear Joshua more often. We have episodes listed by host, and you can see everyone there. If you have a favorite host, head that way and support the episodes that they're on. You also find a link to our YouTube page. And we may be adding some special content beyond what we've promised. Everything that was once in multiple different locations and you didn't know where to go, well, it's all in that one convenient place. If you want to know exactly where to go, the link to this will be in the description below.
Hi, friends. It's Laura here, and I just wanted to say thank you for listening to our show. Systematic Geekology is a part of a larger podcast network called the Anazal Podcast Network. Dummy for Theology is Joshua Noel's show discussing different theological topics from various perspectives and attempting to give people more questions than answers. My Seminary Life is Brandon Knight's show. It started as him going through what he was learning in seminary, and after he graduated, he's been doing independent studies and has a lot of fun series like on hermeneutics, Bonhoeffer Summer, and worship. And then Friday Night Frights is a monthly show with Christian Ashley and Joe Day. They have a vote on the Systematic Geekology Facebook group to choose a topic each month and discuss everything from cryptos to ghosts to aliens to serial killers and more. So we hope you'll give it a listen, and thanks for being part of what we're putting out there.